In the annals of bodybuilding history, there exists a legend, a man who carved his path with precision and transformed the realm of aesthetics. His name, Frank Zane. Known as the Chemist, Zane elevated the art of proportionate bodybuilding to extraordinary heights, an accomplishment that few truly comprehend. Frank Zane's reign as Mr. Olympia marked a monumental shift in the world of bodybuilding, a departure from sheer mass and an embrace of sublime aesthetics. While Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sergio Oliva stunned the masses with their colossal physiques, Zane presented something different. He offered a vision of physical perfection that resonated with the everyday man, a vision they yearned to achieve themselves. Today, we delve deeper into how Frank Zane built the aesthetic physique. Frank Zane was born on June 28, 1942, in Pennsylvania. Growing up in a gritty coal mining town, he experienced his fair share of battles during his formative years. It wasn't until the age of 14 that Zane discovered his affinity for weightlifting. A chance encounter with a muscle magazine outside of school ignited a spark within him. Inspired by the workouts featured within those glossy pages, he wasted no time in acquiring a pair of 30 lb dumbbells to mimic the exercises he found. However, Zane's pursuit of bodybuilding was met with disapproval from his father, who believed his time would be better spent on more practical endeavors. His father advised him to build himself up by cutting the grass, hoping to redirect his focus. But Zane's passion for bodybuilding burned too brightly to be extinguished. Over the next 3 years, he dedicated himself to his training, diligently adding over 30 lbs of lean muscle mass, transforming into a robust 160 lb 17-year-old. Zane was determined, improvising his own home gym and committing to daily workouts, alternating between upper and lower body routines. Slowly, his parents began to understand and accept his choice to pursue a life in bodybuilding. As Zane approached adulthood, he continued to train rigorously, while simultaneously pursuing a career in teaching mathematics and chemistry in Florida. His dedication paid off as he began participating in local competitions, quickly establishing his dominance along the East Coast. With dreams of reaching the pinnacle of bodybuilding, Zane set his sights on California, a land known as the Mecca for aspiring bodybuilders. Though rooted in Florida, he had recently found love with his future wife, Christine, who shared his passion and drive to excel in the world of bodybuilding. In the span of 2 transformative years, Zane's career soared to unprecedented heights. He claimed the coveted Mr. America title in New York City in 1968, showcasing his remarkable physique. Just a week later, he further solidified his stature by seizing the Mr. Universe crown in Florida, triumphing over none other than the iconic Arnold Schwarzenegger. Frank and Christine realized that their dreams of a career in bodybuilding were no longer mere fantasies. With great determination, they made the life-changing decision to relocate to California. Despite his move, Frank continued to work as a mathematics teacher while simultaneously dominating the world of bodybuilding. Competing in various contests, Frank consistently emerged victorious or secured high placements, earning the admiration and awe of fellow bodybuilders. In 1977, everything shifted for Frank when he achieved the ultimate pinnacle of bodybuilding success, the Mr. Olympia title. Not only did he claim this prestigious award, but he went on to win it 3 consecutive times, surpassing formidable rivals in the process. Frank's exceptional symmetry and proportion became unmatched, solidifying his status as a true icon in the realm of aesthetics and strength. However, the trajectory of Frank's journey took an unexpected turn in 1980. Just when it seemed like everything couldn't get any better, a life-threatening accident occurred. Frank slipped by a poolside, suffering severe blood loss that led to a prolonged hospital stay. This incident transpired a mere 8 weeks before the highly anticipated 1980 Mr. Olympia competition. The injury resulted in Frank losing over 15 lbs of hard-earned muscle mass, casting doubts on his ability to compete. In his uncertainty, Frank turned to his fellow bodybuilder and trusted friend Arnold Schwarzenegger, seeking guidance. Arnold observed Frank's posing and advised him to fly to Sydney and defend his crown at the Mr. Olympia show. Interestingly, Arnold himself, preparing for his role as Conan the Barbarian, had initially declared his disinterest in participating. However, the night before the event, Arnold surprisingly announced his return to the stage. In the end, Frank placed third, with Chris Dickerson taking first place and Arnold Schwarzenegger securing second. The 1980 Mr. Olympia competition remains one of the most controversial events in the history of bodybuilding. Frank Zane and others boycotted the contest following Arnold's victory, as many speculated that political influences influenced the judges' decision. Despite significant weaknesses, Arnold was awarded the trophy, sparking widespread debates within the bodybuilding community. 3 years later, Frank's illustrious career reached its conclusion due to a serious shoulder injury sustained in a bicycle crash. Refusing to withdraw from the Olympia competition, Frank persisted with his training, deferring the necessary surgery. As a result, he secured fourth place, but the damage to his shoulder necessitated extensive repair work. The 1983 Mr. Olympia show marked Frank Zane's final appearance as a competitor. Following his retirement from competitive bodybuilding, Frank and his wife established Zane Haven, which is now known as Zane Experience. This sanctuary serves as a one-on-one training facility, catering to aspiring bodybuilders seeking to sculpt their own aesthetic physiques. Additionally, Frank founded Zane Gallery in Laguna Beach, a venue dedicated to exhibiting bodybuilding photographs and celebrating the golden era of the sport. Through his books and educational content, Frank also shares his extensive knowledge and expertise with the wider community, fostering growth and understanding. Frank Zane's career is nothing short of extraordinary, leaving an indelible mark on the world of bodybuilding. His reign as Mr. Olympia signaled a significant shift in the landscape of the sport. In the previous decade, Sergio Oliva and Arnold Schwarzenegger had dominated, both boasting larger physiques compared to Zane. Arnold, in particular, stepped on stage at an impressive 235 lbs. In contrast, Zane claimed all 3 Mr. Olympia titles while weighing under 190 lbs. This remarkable achievement showcased the emergence of aesthetics and proportions as paramount, eclipsing the previous emphasis on mass. Over his more than 2-decade-long competitive journey, Zane accomplished a feat achieved by only 3 men in history, defeating Arnold Schwarzenegger. The other 2 individuals who achieved this remarkable feat were Chester Yorton and Sergio Oliva. Zane also stands as one of the few individuals to secure the prestigious Mr. Olympia title while weighing under 200 pounds. Additionally, his waistline, second only to Oliva's, ranks among the narrowest in the history of Mr. Olympia winners. Throughout his illustrious career, Zane amassed an impressive collection of titles, including Mr. America, Mr. Universe, Mr. World, and, of course, Mr. Olympia. In recognition of his extraordinary contributions to the field, Frank Zane was inducted into the Joe Weider Hall of Fame in 1994. He also received the esteemed Arnold Schwarzenegger Lifetime Achievement Award at the Arnold Classic in 2003. In June 2020, Zane embarked on the filming of a feature-length documentary titled Frank Zane Defined, chronicling his exceptional journey. When it comes to training and workouts, Frank Zane followed a diverse range of routines throughout his career. His approach evolved as he progressed and depending on the individuals he trained with during specific periods. Initially, Zane favored using lighter weights, believing that this approach, coupled with higher repetitions, would facilitate lean muscle growth and preserve his aesthetic proportions. While there is truth in his initial belief, it became apparent that light weights alone would not propel him to the Olympia stage. Under the guidance of Joe Weider, Zane transitioned to heavy weightlifting and reduced training volumes, paving the way for his successful Mr. Olympia reign. After his 1977 victory, Zane asserted, "The only way you can get muscle size is through heavy training." He observed that heavy weightlifting enabled him to maintain his muscle mass for longer periods during periods of rest, whereas with light weights, his size diminished more rapidly when he reduced training intensity. Mindful of the potential risks of heavy weight training, Zane was cautious to avoid injuries throughout his career. Later on, his caution proved justified as he encountered several injuries, particularly in his lower back, knees, and shoulders, ultimately leading to the conclusion of his competitive journey. In his final years on stage, Zane returned to lighter weights, prioritizing longevity. This approach had always been his preferred method of training, as he believed that lighter weights allowed him to better focus on the target muscle. Inspired by discussions with Larry Scott, Zane became a strong proponent of the mind-muscle connection. When it came to nutrition, Frank Zane adhered to the principles followed by bodybuilders during the Golden Era. Zane maintained a physique that allowed him to be show-ready at short notice, a practice commonly seen in old-school bodybuilding, in contrast to the bulking and cutting cycles prevalent among modern bodybuilders. In an interview with Muscle and Strength, Zane discussed his experience with bulking in the off-season, stating that it had always been disastrous for him. He focused more on his appearance and would take numerous color slides to document his progress. Zane followed a consistent year-round diet, making minor adjustments leading up to a competition. His approach involved restricting carbohydrates and striving to keep his daily carb intake below his protein intake. Zane's diet was intuitive, as he paid attention to his body's cues. If his workouts felt stagnant, he would slightly increase his carb consumption. Typically, his diet operated on a 4-day cycle, 3 days of low carbs followed by a slight increase on the 4th day. Unlike some of his fellow bodybuilders, Zane did not possess a ravenous appetite. He consumed around 2,000 to 3,000 calories per day and adhered to basic nutritional guidelines. According to Zane, the best advice he can offer is to experiment, listen to your body, and observe the results. He advocated for gradual and sustainable changes rather than drastic or radical approaches. Zane maintained his competition weight within a 5% range throughout the year. To achieve this, he adhered to specific nutrition guidelines, including consuming 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and 0.5 grams of carbs per pound of body weight. Additionally, he emphasized consuming protein and carbs before and after workouts and incorporating a post-workout protein shake into his routine. In addition to his dietary practices, Zane was notable for his use of supplements, which set him apart from many bodybuilders of his time. He regularly took a variety of supplements, including amino acids and multivitamins. Although such supplementation is common today, it was relatively uncommon during Zane's era. This contributed to Zane acquiring the nickname the Chemist. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.